Good afternoon all. We are group 15 and our topic for the presentation is case study on contract problems on money. As we all know that construction is regarded as an important sector in policy making due to its strong interaction with other sectors. Improved efficiency in a sector should in theory further stimulate the overall economy. And one of the critical factors in the efficiency of construction sector is the successful management of financial resources. Now, experience to date through various researchers shows that poor financial management and lack of finance are the main causes of contract failures and the most significant obstacle to the improvement of innovation in construction industry. Now, main external factors and internal capital sources in construction sector are debt and equity. Equity consists of funds subscribed in a project by shareholders and of retained profits. On the other hand, debt is mainly provided by commercial bank through instruments such as short, medium and long-term loans. Now, as I said, in a research, it was found that financial sources in construction sector is limited compared to other sectors. They say that the risk of financial sources is less in construction industry. But on the contrast, some argue that construction has an high average than other industries. Now let's see through this graph. The graph on the top shows the survival rates of a business in 5 years. We can say that it is continuously declining. Now what are the problems? Why it is declining? The 16% of the business who are failure are due to financial problems. And in that, the construction comes at the top third with a 53% rate. Now, why it is failing and what are the problems? Now, there is a critical point in that. If a company does not make a profit, or it will most likely fail. However, whether it makes a profit or loss, if it does not have a positive cash flow, it will absolutely fail, right? Now, why? Why that statement is correct? And what are the problems and how they are affecting the construction contracts management. Now let's see this through finance-based project management. Finance-based project management category consists of 3 subcategories. Finance-based scheduling, which focus on the integration of scheduling and financing functions. Next is cash flow forecasting and management, which focuses on the strategy and model for planning and controlling contractor cash flows. And the last is financing cost, which includes publications regarding the estimation of cost borne from financial burden. Now, in our case, the management of cash flow is of crucial importance for contractors, as the difference between insolvency and survival would depend on how the company handles the movement of money in and out of the firm. So, what is cash flow management? It is simply cash in and cash out, or we can say it is a business wallet. A contractor cash flow statement is an analysis of all the cash that came in and went out for a given period. Usually it is taken as a 1 month on an average. The period can be in the past or a projection for the future. Cash flow management involves looking at the current cash flow reports for your construction business or predictions in the future. So let's take an example. If we know that we are receiving a 50,000 payment next week, we can definitely make decision about what bills to pay today, knowing that the money will be there in our hand next week. And if we don't know what we'll get or how much money we'll get in the coming week, we cannot make any different set of decisions. So how a cash flow is provenized in a contract, how a contractor gives the money to its different parts in the construction management. So there are 3 parts. First is completion percentage. The next comes the value item for that percentage of completion and the line items that have been fulfilled. So this is an overview of introduction of cash flow management and how it is. Now we'll see what are the problems and why it is really a problem in construction contract management. So now Sai Kirti will take over and will explain you more about the problems faced by construction contract.
Thank you, Nirbhay. Hello everyone, this is Sai Kirti, roll number 76, and I am here to discuss poor organizational and financial control originating in the office. Before going to topic, let us see one example. The owner of all-purpose plumbing subcontractors was beloved by both his consumers and his employees, with a well-earned reputation for delivering outstanding work. Unfortunately, he also had an equal and well-earned reputation for being careless when it came to financial side of his business. A character flaw that was compounded by keeping a very messy and extremely disorganized accounting department with very little financial control over the company's finance. It was observed that owner did not know how much money is going in and how much money is going out, but just believed incoming money is more than that of outgoing money. Without the strict financial control and a capable, disciplined accounting department, it's easy for things to slip through cracks, and every time something slips through, the bottom line takes a hit. There is a good reason why the title of the person in the charge of accounting is the controller. That's because they have to control things. This made accounting department gets an undeserved bad rap described derisively by others in the company has been counters or worse. Next slide. So this chart shows the propositions with the direct relationship between main problem and subproblems. The chart tells the poorer the cash flow problems, the greater the extent of delays. The greater the instability of financial market, the greater the cash flow problems, the greater the extent of delays. It's a cycle. Next slide. Now let us see common financial mistakes construction companies make and why it is really a mistake or an issue. Doing work without documentation. One of the common financial mistakes the construction company make is doing additional or changed work without documentation. The construction industry is very hands-on, meaning a lot of decisions and changes made on field based on a quick conversation and handshake. All too often, that additional work does not get documented through a formal change order before the work is done. Why it's an issue? This often results in little to no profit for extra work. The result of these undocumented changes is an added cost to the contractors that may or may not be billed in the end. Invoice, next slide. Invoicing late and missing bank draw. Many projects have invoice submission deadlines for monthly draw from the bank. If you miss deadline, then may not be until the next month before the invoice can be submitted to the bank and paid. Why it is an issue? If late invoicing has become a common practice in your company, you are likely having to front or float costs until the invoice is paid. This not only increases your financial risk, but also means you have less cash on hand to put back into the company. Third one, misunderstanding costs. One of the most common financial mistakes in the construction industry is not having a clear understanding of prices. A construction company should have a comprehensive knowledge of down to detail cost. This includes not only materials and labor, but equipments and administrative prices as well. Why it is an issue? Without in-depth knowledge and process surrounding prices, you can't have an educated view of your profit structure. You're likely bidding some jobs too low, losing out on um, projects you have bid too high, and may have undiscovered adjustment that, if made, could maximize profits across the board. Now, Pavan will take over and explain the other problems.
Thank you, Saigati. This is Pawan. My roll number is 103119077. Fourth one, misallocating cost. Each project cost should be meticulously accounted for, achieve more reliable analysis of profitably. Without this information, a construction company may not know whether a job is truly profitable or not. A common issue construction company may find is that they have some jobs that are extremely profitable and other are not. While for many construction companies, this project balance out to be overall profitable, but without a deeper look, construction company may be leaving money on the table and missing out on a higher level of profitability, which is a big loss. Making the best financial move for your construction companies means having a detailed data to make more informed strategic business decisions. This start with an accurate allocation of cost. Better understanding cost can lead to more optimized to profit on all projects, ultimately leading to a more profitable company. Fifth one, fixed material cost is in bid contract. The ability to adjust material price due to market fluctuation, and some don't. For example, when steel prices jumped a few summers ago, some companies saw an increase in material cost almost overnight, and many had to eat the cost since they couldn't contractually pass the cost on the customers. Next slide, please. Insufficient case reservoir 6.1 depend on where they are in the construction cycle and how big a job is. They may not, as some case come in up to a year. If a construction company doesn't have a cash reserve to handle this, they may end up having to take out unnecessary loans or delay important payments such as a payroll. This can accumulate interest cost or cause distress with vendors and employees. 7. Next slide, please. Hello. Yeah. 7th one, front leading cost. A final critical issues construction company often face in the front leading cost. This is the tendency due to money reserved from one client to pay for the cost to the second customer's construction project. This often occurs because of the problem project, such as a one that improperly bid or that run into the delay or labor or cease. It's an issue. Taking for a second project fund to pay the first project can put the company at the risk of not able to finish the second project, ultimately putting both projects at risk. It can also damage the relationship with the other customers since this misallocating of their project funds may means of the lack of funds for their project and can often result the delay or temptation to cut corners or quality. Please next slide. Hello.
This what happened?
Add one. High payroll burden. If your company doesn't work that is labor intensive, that financial stress of having to pay your employees every week or two can flow difficultly. 9. Pay bills early. If you always pay your bills as soon as they come in, this can leave you case strapped, waiting until more cash is available or until the end of payment terms. Give your more money to work with during the day in between. 10th one, paying cash for assets. If you are buying equipment or vehicles with cash, you are stealing money for yourself. Financial losses versus free of your cash to cover other necessary costs such as a payroll or supplies. Thank you. Now my friend Varun will take the changes and explain a case study.
Yeah, thank you, Bhavan. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I am Varun from Section B, bearing roll number 78. Now, I am going to present you a case study on contract problems in construction, which are related to money. Yeah, Nirbhay, yeah. I chose the case study of Polavaram Irrigation Project, Andhra Pradesh, which is considered as a lifeline of Andhra Pradesh. Now, I have chosen this particular case study because there are several reasons that has to be discussed. I will make you to understand all the issues it has gone through for several decades of construction of this dam. What all things made this construction of the dam these many years, and it is still in construction phase, a current ongoing project, and how it was politically affected and what price it is taking now to construct this dam. How drastically the prices have been changed, and the total project estimates as of now. We will rather see the history involved, politics involved, the records set while constructing this dam. As a structure is related to the government and public, what all things have the construction of this project faced due to several governments in years? Which government has played what key roles in completing the project? The number of contractors who got changed eventually due to their lack of efficiency and due to the change in governments both in the state and in the center. Now, coming to the history of this project, we will see. We generally listen to news. Yeah, we generally listen to news saying the villagers were drowned due to the floods, and at the same time, there are places facing severe drought. To solve this problem, civil engineers have started thinking. The idea of solving this problem was started in the late 1940s by the engineers, and they have got an idea of interlinking of rivers. Interlinking of rivers is a main idea behind construction of this dam to provide water for irrigation in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And now this interlinking of rivers like the river Krishna and Godavari, which are the major rivers of the Andhra Pradesh, nearly 30,000 TMC of river Godavari is not being utilized effectively, and this huge amount of 30,000 TMC, that means 1,000 million cubic feet, is reaching the saline oceans every year. Due to shortage of water in Krishna, the areas surrounding to the river Krishna has only grown single crop for the entire year. So they thought of interlinking of these two major rivers which are in Andhra Pradesh. For this to happen, first we should store the water as much as possible so that they do not reach sea. To store water, we need a dam. So they thought to construct a dam in between the Sri Ramsagar Dam, which is on the upstream, and Dhavaleshwaram Dam, which is on the downstream of Polavaram. After the construction of this dam, the aim is to transfer water mainly from Godavari to Krishna and make all the low-lying areas with flooded with to have water. In the year 1941, a chief civil engineer named Venkata Krishna Iyer, he surveyed a lot about a place in order to find the best place to construct dam on Godavari river. He was able to identify one suitable place, that is Polavaram, which is 50 kilometers upstream to Dhavaleshwaram project. Except this place, he couldn't find any other place on Godavari which is suitable for the construction of dam. Now we will look into the dam details. Till now, in any part of the world, if you see, the dams will be of one kind, and this dam is specifically of other kind. It is being constructed a little away from the original river course. It has got three main parts, like a main dam, which is also called as a spillway, and one is the earthcome rock fill dam, which is also short formed as a ECRF, and canals. The spillway length, which is the main dam, is of 1.1 kilometer and has a total of 48 gates. Once after the direction of a river is altered, the original river course was obstructed with earthcome rock fill dam. This ECRF dam will not have any gates. It's just like a wall. This won't have any gates. Yeah. Nearby, can you change the slide? Yeah, Nirbhay. Yeah, Nirbhay.
I have changed it.
Yeah, I got it now. They decided to construct this dam at Polavaram. The estimated cost of this project is about 6.5 crores in 1940s by the chief engineer named Nair, which was discussed earlier. But this was named as the Ramapada Sagar project in the early 1940s, and then, but due to lack of funds, the dam construction has not started at that time, and then later it was named as Polavaram Irrigation Project. Finally, in the year 2004, the then Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Dr. YSR, has started thinking of this project. The project estimation in the year 2004 was around 8,200 crores. We can approximate it to nearly 10,000 crores. The state government has decided to build the project on its own. They have started canal works by the year 2004 and the dam construction works in the year 2005. The dam construction came to a halt in the year 2006 May because the state government has not obtained the clearances from the forest department and from various other departments. The construction has stopped up to the year 2009. Till there were only canal works have been completed. By then, 2009, the state government has got the clearances from all the departments. And then after the demise of the former Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh in the year 2009, again the project construction has halted and no other government has thought of this project again. And after some time, state government has demanded the center to give this Polavaram project, a national project, if given a chance for national project, 90% of the funding will be given by the central government. But then the Prime Minister of India, Manmohan Singh, denied for this proposal. In 2014, after bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh, newly formed state Telangana from the Andhra Pradesh was formed. As AP is in a deficit budget during the bifurcation, Polavaram project will be given the national project status as mentioned by Sonia Gandhi, who is the Congress leader at that time in the year 2014. And then 2014 elections were held, but the entire scenario has changed a lot. Like the center was come up with power by BJP, and in the state it was by the Telugu Desam party. And now the state government has decided to take care of Polavaram project, which was stopped in 2009. Now it is going to take in 2014 it started again. The promise which was given by Congress before bifurcation was not fulfilled yet, and then after coming to power, the BJP has given the national project status. The state has promised to give the compensation correctly for those people who are going to be affected with construction of this dam, like for the rehabilitation process and all. In 2014, the dam construction has begun after the rehabilitation, and in 2015 the construction works were given to Navayuga company because the previous contractors were not working efficiently, so it was changed to Navayuga company. The project construction has accelerated after changing the contractors. Once the spillway's length, which was discussed, is like 1.1 with a total of 48 gates. Now, after the direction of river is altered, the original river course was obstructed with earth-cum rock-fill dam. This acts like a wall. The earth-cum rock-fill dam doesn't have any gates, it's just like a wall. In ECRF, that is the earth-cum rock-fill dam, if it is constructed, then only we can store water in the main dam. Else, during the times of flood, the water won't get stored in the spillway, but will go in the original river course direction, which was in the direction of the ECRF dam. So to construct ECRF dam, we should stop water coming in the river course direction, then only we will be able to construct the dam. To obstruct water for constructing ECRF dam, coffer dams are constructed in upstream and downstream. These coffer dams are just temporary structures. These will be removed after the completion of a construction of a ECRF dam, which is a earth-cum rock-fill dam. The reason of construction of coffer dam in the upstream is to obstruct water from upstream, and the reason for construction of coffer dam downstream is to obstruct water from the downstream through the sand. As the sand is pervious, the water will get seeped into through the sand, and it will make some disturbance during the construction of the ECRF dam. Now we'll construct the ECRF dam in between these two coffer dams. To construct ECRF dam, we need foundation. This foundation is termed as a diaphragm wall. In river Godavari, the sand will be present up to a depth of 300 feet. If we lay a foundation up to 100 feet, since there will be sand, since there will be sand below, the water comes through the sand, nullifying the benefit of construction of ECRF dam. By drilling up to 300 feet, we can get the rock surface, and then again they dig up to 10 feet into the rock, and it will be filled with concrete. In this way, 1.4 kilometer of length and 1.5 meter of width, the diaphragm wall is going to be constructed with concrete. We cannot see diaphragm wall as it was present inside the soil, so we cannot see the diaphragm wall. And on this diaphragm wall, ECRF dam is going to be constructed up to a height of 42 meters. This ECRF dam is going to be built with concrete. The length of this ECRF dam is nearly 1.7 kilometer. And if you see at the left end of the ECRF dam, some gap will be provided for the sake of hydroelectric power plant. When water goes through this, electricity is generated. Now, Polavaram right side canal of our length 174 kilometers is going to be meet river Krishna at Ibrahimpatnam in Vijayawada. In the areas near the canal, we can grow nearly 3 crops a year because of the flowing of water from the Godavari towards the Krishna river. And also, Polavaram left canal is built of a length of 181 kilometers. It reaches to Visakhapatnam and then nearly to Srikakulam district and Vijayanagaram districts. Nearly 50,000 crores were spent for the construction till 2009. Sorry, 5,000 crores. Now the diaphragm wall spillway has been completed and the gates has to be fitted in the spillway. Nearly 90% of the right canal works and 65% of left canal works. 15,000 crores has 10,000 crores has been completed for this, and totally 70% of work has been by this time. And in the 2004, the expected budget for constructing the Polavaram Dam was 10,000 crores. Now in 2018, the budget has been drastically increased to 58,000 crores. The value gets increased every year as it becomes late. This is probably due to the inflation. The inflation plays a key role in estimating the cost of the project. Like it was earlier in the 1940s, it was nearly 6.5 crores, near to that, and in 2004 it became 8,200 crores, and now in the 2018 it has reached to 58,000 crores. Probably this is due to the inflation and the cost increase in the cement, cost increase in the sand, cost increase in labor. Each and everything has determined the increase in this amount of rate. Now, the final proceedings of after the 2019 elections, the state has witnessed a new political party and dynamic leadership of Sri Y.S. Jagannath Reddy. It has introduced a new version, that is a reverse tendering, citing that the previous government has done many scams in the construction of the Polavaram project in their 5-year term, like that is from 2014 to 2019. And then after the reverse tendering, Mega Engineering Infrastructure Limited, in short, MAIL, has backed the reverse tender with an offer of 4,358 crores, which was 12.6% lower than before cited bid of 4,987 crores. The Polavaram project is intended to stabilize the agriculture and water supply for 2 crops in a year, 2 and a maximum in a year. The project proposes to supply irrigation water for 7.2 lakh acres, and the hydropower plant, which was built near to ECRF dam, will generate electricity of 960 megawatt, and it lifts 80 TMC of water to the Prakasam barrage, which is on Krishna river. It also aims to supply for 23.44 TMC of drinking water to Vizag. It will solve the drinking water problem in 540 villages along the Polavaram project and near to the areas of Godavari and Krishna river. The company plans to begin work on the main reservoir and the hydropower station simultaneously. As intended, the project is expected to complete by June 2022 probably, and by this project nearly 7 lakh acres get benefited. Helps in irrigation. Already 23 lakh acres which are already getting irrigation water will now get adequate water to have water for their crops. 80 TMC of water is being transferred to Krishna river and 23 to Vizag and nearby areas. River Godavari has flooded at least once in 30 years. After construction of this dam, this dam has hold all the flood water irrespective of the size of flood it got. The world's biggest dam, the Three Gorges Dam in China, has capacity of 47 lakh cusics of flood water, and this Polavaram project has a capacity of 50 lakh cusics of flood water. That means it's more than that of the Three Gorges Dam. Nearly 33,000 crores is required for a rehabilitation and resettlement of people before construction of this project. And after completion of project, even a drought of 4 years for Andhra Pradesh will have no difference in the water requirement for the state of Andhra Pradesh. Like as expected, on before June 2022, the Polavaram project get IS, and it has also received a Guinness World Record in January 2019 for pouring a 45 lakh meter cube of concrete in one single day, that is within 24 hours. And now my friend Praneeth will discuss about the summary and so on. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Praneeth, roll number 74. Discussion and summary. Findings indicate that the root cause of financial related delays are mainly due to poor cash flow management, delay followed by the late payment, insufficient financial resources, and financial market instability. In detail, contractors' unstable financial background, clients' poor financial and business management difficulties in getting loan from financiers, and inflation were identified as the main significant causes to each of the 4 main factors mentioned above. Generally, a contractor's unstable financial background is the most significant factor that underlies poor cash flow management, which would consequently lead to project delays. Difficulties in getting loan from financiers could cause insufficient financial resources, and inflation of material prices, labor wages, and transportation costs could cause financial market instability. How to fix it? Establish good accounting and financial practices. Finance fixed assets purchase whenever possible. Negotiate better payment terms. Invoice promptly and regularly. Be visible on the job by filling preliminary notices. Offer payment options
or discounts for early payments. Avoid over and under billing. Create accurate estimates. Managing cash flow is the key of survival in construction. Conclusion. Construction delay could be reduced by identifying the root cause of financial related problems. It generally agrees that clients should bear the great responsibility and play the most important role in seeing the impact of financial related construction delays. Possible solution is financial related delays such as to structure the market not to overdevelop, to conduct training on cash flow management, to access risk management, to be smart in accepting the contract, to choose a good paymaster and to apply payment bond with bank and client when suggested to clients and contractors respectively. It recommends that more intensive researchers emphasizing on how clients and main contractors may achieve a well-managed cash flow in obtaining a prompt payment should be conducted in future. Thank you.
Okay, so team 15 has given their presentation, and they have discussed the case study on contract problems based upon money. Initially they discussed related to the cash flows, and that case study related to the Polavaram project, it was very good, Varun. It was an elaborate case study which you took. I have to appreciate your team for taking this case study.
Thank you.
And, yeah. And what I felt is at the last, the portion for Pranath was very little. That is what I felt when compared to others. And remaining, otherwise, it is a very good presentation. Like considering it as a whole, it is good. When I'm considering as individual candidates, that time the portion which Pranit took over was very little compared to all other 4 members. So this is what I felt personally. And otherwise, it was a very good presentation. And your case study was excellent. That was all related to your exact topic, right? So that was a very good case study you have taken. Okay, so, and team 16, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so first tell me one thing. Today, after your lunch break, do you have any class? Any classes, any minus, any other classes do you have?
Yes, ma'am.
You have. At what time it starts? It's already 1:10 now. If the next team starts, probably they'll be taking around another half an hour, where it will be like 1:40. Is it okay for you people? Or you shouldn't complain that it's time for lunch? So tell me in prayer. Shall we start with the second presentation now?
No, ma'am.
Why? You have to tell me the reason also. Will it get late for your lunch as well as for your class?
It's time for lunch.
Okay. So team 16, how much time do you require for a presentation?
Ma'am, from 20 to 25 minutes.
20 to 25 minutes, then it is okay. You can start your presentation. If it will be exceeding more than 30 to 35, only in that situation, we have to transfer it to another session. So it is 20 to 25 minutes. It is okay. You can start now. Team 16, you can start your screen share. Okay. So your contract problems on construction.
Yes, ma'am. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tanvish Srivardhan, roll number 84 from team 16. And here are our teammates, Pattabi, Prakash, Pravesh, Prince, and myself from roll number 79 to 84. And previously we have seen the contract problems on money, material, labor, and today we are going to present on the contract problems on construction. So let's get started. And these are a flow of presentation, starting with the contract administration, ending with the solutions to the contract problems on construction. Before seeing the contract problems on construction, we need to know what happens after the contract and during the construction and why disputes arise. This is nothing but the contract administration. Contract administration, also called as construction services, it affords the owner that the assurance that what is being built is what has been designed. The architect will act as a coordinator for the owner and the contractor in the administration of the construction contract throughout the construction process and even in the post-construction activities also. The given points are some of the typical contract administration services. The architect will give the plan according to the owner's requirement, but this plan has to be analyzed and evaluated by the engineers. The engineers should go to the construction site and analyze the site and should come to a conclusion on how the plan should be implemented there. They should also make sure that all the building codes, are being observed or not. A building code is generally a set of rules that specify standards for construction buildings. All the buildings must conform to code to obtain planning permission, usually from the local government. The main purpose of these building codes is to protect public health, safety, and general warfare as they relate to the construction and the occupancy of buildings and structures. Next is reviewing. The intent is that by this review and approval, the contractor represents that it has determined and verified all the field measurements, field construction criteria, materials, catalog numbers, and similar data, and that it has checked and coordinated each shop drawing with the requirements of the work and the contract. Approval drawings means they include the framing drawings, elevation sections through the building. Then approving and providing the samples and the materials required as per the contract documents. Then reviewing and commenting on the changes made and refining the plan in a better way. Next is reviewing and amending the contractor's monthly requisition payment. Fixing up this and then applying for a payment. A payment application is a document that a contractor submits to get paid for their services. Then in the mean process, obviously some issues may arise and changes have to be done. And all these changes have to be documented. And that's what a change order does. A change order is a document that shows changes to the scope of work and the cost associated with the change. The owner and the contractor both must sign the change order because the application will reflect the change in work and the cost, including the change orders, gives the contractor and the owner a quick reference point to confirm that the numbers, the money figures in the application are correct. Next is periodic on-site visits during the construction and conducting regular meetings with the contractors, vendors, and subcontractors, and looking over the progress and keeping the records up to date about all those changes made. And reviewing and commenting on the contractor proposed changes to the contract documents, which may increase the contract sum or it may also decrease the contract sum. Next is supervising the project, ensuring that clients get the technical quality they expect and the project goals are met. And ensuring the compliance with all guarantee and warranty requirements. We all know that guarantees and warranties emerge as a means of safeguarding for the rights of customers. These are legal instruments, and with the strength of guarantees and warranties, the seller or the manufacturer is liable to face the judicial courts if they fail to fulfill the guarantees and warranties. They include the information about the free repairs, service information, and legal recourse. And in case of dispute, serving as an arbitrator, which we already have seen by previous teams, and listening to both the sides and looking at the evidences and giving the unbiased decisions. So this is what generally happens once the contract is made and during the construction and before the completion of the project. Now Prince will explain what's the role of the owner in designing and planning. Thank you. Over to him.
Thank you, Tanvi. Good afternoon, ma'am and my friends. I am Prince, roll number 103119082. Now, on the right side, document AIA document B141, a standard form of agreement between owner and architect is shown. We need to keep in mind several consideration when negotiating the cost of architectural service. Do I want to contract for design only, or do I want to include some or all construction related services? The standard AIA architect owner contract for design AIA document B141 standard form of agreement between owner and construction services. AIA document B163 standard form of agreement between owner and architect with description of designated services. Now I am going to tell about design process. Turn me next slide. The design process consists of many phases. Beginning with the initial meeting, the project owner and architect where concepts were exchanged, and continuing on the production, what is often referred to as working drawing. Drawing at this point represent the final stage of design, are required to obtain a building permit, thereby commence construction. In project owner may not always want to proceed directly to working drawing for a number of reasons. The first one is full funding for the project may not yet to be hand, but some design document may be necessary to obtain the funding required. The second one is conceptual drawing may be necessary to start the budgeting process, not only for construction purpose, but for the inferior fit up of the building and cost associated with the relocation from existing facility. The third one is the approval of the project by the owner, board of directors, and the last is the client specials needs to be fully defined and a preliminary set on the basis of floor plans may be required to do so. There are a number of options open to an owner to obtain less than complete drawing, and the architect can helpful in selecting the proper stage or a stage design to meet owner needs. The architect may also be able to provide a cost associated with a stage of design. The initial systematic phase of design will require the architect to obtain some basic information from the owner. What is the function of building, commercial, retailer, or corporate office? Can we please next slide? Now I'm going to tell about the owner role in the design process. An owner should take place an active role in the design process to provide the design professional with the information they require to develop the project design. Some owners may not have experience in interpreting a two-dimensional design. All those lines on the drawing. If that is the case, ask architect to explain which archencybons are lined. While avoiding the temptation to micromanage, an owner need to provide continuity of oversight to each stage of design development is familiar to that owner group or owner assigned individual from start to finish. A owner senior staff should assume the responsibility, but also to review design, either change or accept it as it evolves. With sufficiently knowledgeable staff is not available to fulfill this function, the owner has several options. The first one is engage a construction consultant to monitor the design to ensure that it meets the owner program, and the second is engage a construction manager as the project delivery system of choice. Next slide. And the third is select a experienced general contractor to work with the architect during a design to assist in estimating material selection and constructibility issue. Negotiate some form of construction contract with the contractor to cover this service. Now I am going to tell about constructibility and coordination. Constructibility may vary from design professional to design professional, or it can be simply as providing the knowledge and experience to plan, design, procure, and execute the most effective, highest quality overall project objective. It may be as simple determining the type of structural system based on the anticipated start of construction. If it appears that a project in a geographic area where harsh winter weather is the norm and start of the project, put the structural framework right in the dead of winter. It might be wise to consider a steel structure rather than cast in place concrete, which could costly winter protection. Now next my friend Pravesh will continue.
Yeah, good evening everyone. My name is Pravesh and I'll be explaining 3 contract problems on construction. The first one being lack of proper drawing coordination. So many architects split their work to other specialists by giving the work to appropriate engineering firms, such as civil engineer will take care of the site work and etc. All of these consultants to the architect have a responsibility to coordinate their work so everything fits together properly and within the space allotted to it. But this doesn't always happen because the team leader, which is usually the architect, may not have paid enough attention to the process or have been requested by an owner to complete the drawings before he or she has had the chance to properly review them. Improper coordination of the plans can prove catastrophic in a multi-story project. So I'll try to explain this with an example. Let us take a 14-story residential apartment building, and the architectural drawings had not been properly coordinated. The structural drawings of the post-tension concrete slabs on each floor, which a structural designer has prepared, contained overall floor dimensions that differed from the architectural drawings. The edge of the contract slabs on each of the floors extended beyond the facade of the building. Clearly, this is an example of total lack of coordination between architect and engineers. These errors spilled over to the mechanical and electrical trades, since all of their vertical shaft openings, designed to carry electrical conducts, air conditioning and heating ducts, water lines, and fire protection lines, were designed according to the architectural drawing. Next problem is that, next slide, inadequate administration of the project. Inadequate administration can go up or down the line, and when it is spotted, it must be quickly changed. The owner has the responsibility to respond to questions from architect, the design team, and the contractor. A clear chain of command should be established so certain decisions can be made in the field, while other require home office review and approval. Contractors get very upset when their progress payments are overdue. Prompt payment is important to contractors, who in turn must pay their subcontractors promptly so they can demand service when required. If the owner's funds are not available, the contractor may have to extend a credit line that may already be extended too far. An important owner responsibility is to review, approve, and process contractor requests for payment within a reasonable period of time. The project team proposed by the general contractor, whose experiences look good on paper, may turn out not to be so good. Answers to questions never seem to come when promised, and when they do, they are incomplete and it's and not up to the mark. Now, a watchful eye must be kept on architect or engineer processing of important documents, change orders requests for information, payment requests, and the owner must ensure that the design consultants are performing in a timely and professional manner. The next problem we have is site conditions that differ materially from the contract documents. Site matters are some of the most frequent and complex disputes that can surface on a construction project, and they require all the parties' view, no matter what, they have to present their own perspective and from that of others. Contractors base their site work estimates on information provided by the owner's civil engineer, that is a geotechnical engineer. The report that is compiled by the geotech includes a host of information. Soil samples taken from the test borings not only provide the structural engineer with soil bearing capacity information upon which to design the project's foundation, but they also provide the contractor with reasonable expectations of what he will find when he excavates for those foundations and other site work. The geotechnical report is in narrative form, and it also diagrammatically provides the contractor with a view of the soil sample, its composition, and indication of underground springs and water levels, the location of rock formations and the type of rock encountered, the elevation where these soils, rocks, and waters were found. As you recall, the bid documents the contractor is invited to inspect the site to become familiar with the condition. This is a critical pre-bid requirement that has many manifestations if and when a site problem is encountered. The test borings are often qualified with a statement such as the conditions found in the test borings are indicative of conditions found solely at the location and may vary widely in adjacent areas of site. Government contracting issues and resolutions are probably the standard for determining the meaning of differing materially. Several government agencies use the 15% rule. The 15% rule is nothing but if the actual quantity of material encountered exceeds 15% of what a reasonable interception of geotechnical report, a differing or changed condition that has been established, on what basis the contractor may issue a request for a cost proposal to cover the added cost for the work. Thank you. And now my friend will continue with 3 other problems.
Hello ma'am, my name is Prakash. My roll number is 103119080. I'll continue where Parvesh left. And my topic is first unforeseen subsurface conditions. Unforeseen is the word states that which we can't expect. So unforeseen conditions are most commonly found in remodeling works and subsurface works. Subsurface works means like excavations, mining, etc. In other words, we can say unforeseen conditions are unusual situations which are not reasonably anticipated based on the contract documents. And for these kind of situations, contractors are not awarded any damages unless they rise to the level of practical impossibility and commercial senselessness, or there is contract language transferring risk. Next slide. These conditions never include like weather conditions, market factors, economic conditions, etc. And then the owners are liable by in the following 3 conditions, that is risk transfer clause. The risk transfer clause, these clause has 3 set of rules, that is condition is unknown to the contractor, condition is unusual, and the condition is materially different. And the next is practical impossibility, and the last one is tort claim raised.
Prakash, 1 second, just hold on for a second. I want the others to stay muted, only Prakash, you can stay unmuted. Pravesh, can you mute yourself? Okay. Prakash, you can continue.
And tort claim means these are the additional contract clause to deal with torts. Torts mean like fraud, negligence, etc. Next slide. And next topic is discrepancy in plans. The word states that there are difference, like a similar difference. That means some of the disagreements related to document discrepancies occurs because what appear to be conflicting requirements. Like if one drawing includes details that will be differing from another drawing, which like by an inch. For example, you can take a door schedule, and drawing may include that door 1A, like say the door 1A is 330/70 door, but the floor plan may reveal that the same door is in another floor, it might be 2868. So in order to avoid these kind of conditions, the court ruling has given some terms. For their contract terms, drawings are modified by addenda, and supplementary documents added as bid documents. Next slide. Hello. Yeah. Drawings with schedule, and then large scale details. Yeah, for example, you can take spear in 5 United States Navy cases. This case happened in 1918, and the court has decided a spear in doctrine, which is famous. You can even search in Google. It is still valid. What happened in this case is the owners have modified the contractor's plan so that, and finally they started to accuse the contractor. When the court hired, it has order and rule stating that if the contractor is bound to build according to the plans and specifications prepared by the owner, the contractor will not be responsible for the consequence of the defects in the plans and specifications. The responsibility of the owner is not overcome by the usual clauses requiring bidders to visit the site to check the plans and to inform themselves of the requirements of the work. This means if the owners exceed his limit on the work, on the construction work, the contractor is not ready to face any future circumstances based on this. Next slide. The next topic is disruption to the normal pace of construction. Disruption to the normal pace of construction can occur due to actions or architect, engineer, or contractor. These disruptions were created by indecision on the part of the one party to the contract, who lack of decision making and its impact on is expected. Construction schedule include extra days designated as float that essentially involves several days in the schedule set aside for the minor delays that so often occur in the complex building process. At the time, contract will stipulate that the owner owns all of the portion of the float and the contractor owns the balance. These extra days can be used to prolong a decision or await materials or equipment on the job site, but everyone must be sensitive to prompt response and resolution of the decision that can impact day-to-day pace of construction. And next part, I will continue the solution part.
Thank you, Prakash. Myself, Ashwan. Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself, Patabi, discussing possible solutions of given above problems. The proper coordination drawing can solve many problems. The purpose of drawing coordination is to create drawings where building components fit within the horizontal and vertical dimensions and avoid interface with the structural framing, ceilings, and other building equipment. The architectural drawings are diagrammatical and require the general contractor to review them to ensure that all of the components will fit in the space allotted for them. Some problems are rather easy to resolve. In other instances, major coordination problems that require shifting partition locations or lowering ceiling heights to unacceptable levels can create serious problems. The general contractor usually has contract obligation to perform normal coordination work, and this coordination requirement is usually included in the contract specifications, directing the general contractor to perform a number of procedures. General procedures include preparing coordination drawings for areas where close coordination is required for installation of products and material fabricating off-site by separate entities and where limited space necessitates maximum utilization of space for efficient installation of different components. Next slide. And owner representative must be the watchdog in these matters. If delays goes undelayed, he or she must advise the concerned party that he will be responsible. Although others are hired to supervise, monitor, and oversee the construction process, an owner must stay close to the action because if he doesn't, there will be a lot of finger pointing, and owners has to pay for the losses. Establish an environment of trust between owner and contractor, which also involves the owner's design consultants if they appear to be too aggressive in their relationship between the contractor. Establish an environment of reasonableness and fairness, not only with the general contractor, but with the subcontractors. As the saying goes, walk a mile in the other person's shoes. Avoid the blame game and recognize that some portion of the problem may lie with the owners and design consultants. Resolve disputes as quickly and as equitably as possible. The longer a dispute remains open, the more hardened the positions for form barriers to the resolution. When site conditions are different materially, the contractor should alert owner's representative or can observe these conditions and comment on them as they are recurring rather than after the removal of different materials has taken place. Next slide. On the final note, using advanced software allows an architect to produce a complete list of all the material required for the project simultaneously with the progression of design itself and reduce errors. Obeying the rules and going through the legal ways in all means. Whenever there are changes in plans or construction reviews, review the changes orders and document them all for future references so that it can act as proof in case of any claims. Doing regular inspections and regular meetings with all parties regarding work process and taking immediate action in case of any errors or dispute arise. Moving with the positive attitude and trusting each other throughout the construction processes help in the successful completion of the project with minimal problems. And that's the end of our presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so this was a very good presentation, Team 16. You have covered the real-time problems that is being faced in the construction sites as well as in the organization. That is both in the office as well as in the on-site. Both you have covered it very in the perfect manner. And also the highlight is you have discussed the unexpected problems. Like not only stopping yourselves or restricting yourselves with case studies or contract problems only on construction, you also came out with the unexpected or the unforeseen problems. So that also you discussed and how to overcome it. That also you have discussed it in a very good manner. I have to congratulate Team 16 for this very good presentation.
Thank
Students,
you,
do you have?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So students, do you have any doubts in this topic? Contract problems on construction. Actually, your topic should be real-time contract problems on construction. Because you have justified your title. Okay. So, do you have any doubts in this topic? You never have. Is it so? Yes or no? If you have doubts, you can stay. Others can leave the meeting. And team 17, 18, you have to present on Friday morning 9:30 class. Yes, 17 and 18.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, done. And the remaining teams will be having the next week. And tomorrow, 4 to 5, we have our CT, that is a quiz. You'll be having the quiz, and the portions are from that is from the second unit. Your first CT portions were till motivational theories. So after motivational theories, till the end of third unit, that is the CPM part. All those things get covered. This is your CT portions. And if you have any doubts, you can post it in the Google Classroom regarding your CT tomorrow. It is going to be only MCQs. Okay. Any other doubts? If you have any doubts, say yes. If you don't have any doubts, say no. Only then I can proceed, no? Like you people staying muted, how can I proceed further?
No, ma'am. No
Okay.
doubts.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, thank you, students. Thank you for having me in the class. Thank you. Varun, you can end the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.